and then she's wearing a shirt that says, "Good girls go to Orlando, bad girls go to Miami." And he goes, "Where do ugly girls like you go?"
Oh.
He chewed her bad. Chewed her boots. Okay, we can take our thumbnail.
Oh!
You didn't hear last night, Jess and I really hit a harmony. It was bad, but we hit it.
Before we get started, go ahead and subscribe and like this video. I really want to quit my job. I hate it a lot. Please subscribe. Anyways, hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Literary Tasting. My name is Jessica.
My name is Annie.
Every week on the Literary Tasting, we read a book and we have a drink. And most importantly, we complain. Today, the only drink we have is some coffee and water because there's still a mysterious sticky substance from the bar in my hair last night, so...
Yeah, like, I smell bad.
No drink for today.
Like, we
don't need those.
We plan to wake up and record in the morning. It is 4:30 p.m. So...
And it's 4:30 and there's still a sticky substance in my hair.
Right.
So...
we're not drinking right now. So, this is where
we
we're
have our
at.
homemade lattes.
Yeah. My sweet, adorable, lovely, amazing roommate made us a latte. We're here to sit and chat. Get yourself a latte and we're going to talk about this. I know y'all read this book in the last couple of days like we did. Mm-hmm. Just dropped a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm. It's The Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Now, before we start, I do want to shameless plug. This book is kind of in the same universe as The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. We covered that last year, actually. Go watch the video. I'm pretty sure it's pretty blurry, but go watch it. I'll link it down below.
It is the Ali Hazelwood cinematic universe, if you will. And if you want to see, you know, some of the other characters that show up in this are in that book.
Now, am I advising to go read an Ali Hazelwood book? No. I would just go watch our video on it. Make sure you like that one as well. I'll link it below.
Yeah.
That said, we're just gonna jump right in.
Yeah, we are.
We've got some twigger warnings.
We got some trigger warnings.
We have some trigger warnings. We've got sexual content, and then this is directly a direct quote from her. Consensual and negotiated exploration of link.
My fault, bro. I was typing fast.
Of kink, in particular of power exchange. I think you just typed twice there. That's
yeah,
okay.
I was typing fast. I'm so sorry.
And then we have child abuse, domestic abuse. We've got some mild bullying, and big trigger warning for Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood has kind of become my arch nemesis recently.
No, like, if there's one person that I feel like you have a good amount of, like, enemies. But if there was one person, like, if you got one wish, and it was like, you need to fight, you can fight someone, anyone of your choice, I feel like you would choose Ali Hazelwood of all people.
No, it would always be your ex.
Fair enough.
Always.
That's fair. That's fair.
Always.
But if he was out of the question, then it would be Ali Hazelwood.
He's out of the question because I'm killing him. Oh, I'm not just fighting him. So just a quick, I'm gonna go ahead and give us just a little synopsis because frankly, this book is 500 pages almost, way too long for a romance book. So we are gonna be skipping through kind of quickly and we are gonna be skipping some scenes.
Yeah.
There are still gonna be spoilers though, so don't be surprised by that.
You know how we feel. Why is your romance book 500 pages? You know how we feel here.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Particularly this one. This book should have been goose egg pages.
Make that a short story.
Just a quick synopsis here. Lucas and Scarlett are they're on the Stanford swim and dive team. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they're also pre-med at Stanford. Mm-hmm. And they meet through a mutual friend and discover they both share a similar kink. Mm-hmm. 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 Let's just get started.
Yeah.
I know I just said I'm going to skip through a lot and we're going to skip a lot of things, but that said, let's start with the prologue. Because the prologue is...
Hold on. Did you cast anyone?
Oh, of course I did.
Yeah. Hold on.
So, I really got creative and really dug deep in my soul.
Right.
For this fan casting.
Of course.
That said, it's got to be Nicholas Gallatin.
I'm going to... We're going to start boxing right now on camera.
It's got to be, right?
At a certain point, we have to let go.
If I talk about him enough, I'm gonna bump into him. You know how it works.
The law of attraction. Okay. You know, I just remember like a couple months back, like several months back, like when we were recording, and we had like our third recording, and I said the words Drew Starkey like twice in like a span of 3 weeks, and you were like, if you bring him up one more time. Here we are today, and he's been cast as every MMC that we've ever mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, I did not cast anyone for him. I mean, I toyed with the idea of casting him as, I can't remember his name. I think it's Alexander
Skarsgård?
No.
Oh.
I can't remember his last name. Alexander Ludwig. He plays Kato in the Hunger Games, the first Hunger Games.
Okay.
I toyed with it but I was like, so I didn't really cast him. I thought about it, but then I was like, maybe not.
He does kind of look like he could have been an aquamarine.
He kind of is giving like he definitely like is giving he could be a swimmer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I was like, oh, I could see that, but then I don't know, it just didn't stick or anything like that for me, so I moved on from that and didn't really cast anybody. But I feel like that's typical for me to not cast someone for a male role, because it's just hard to picture a man who's like so hot to me, you know?
Yeah, I didn't picture anybody for Scarlett, but I did cast somebody for Penelope.
I cast someone for Scarlett. I thought about, if you've ever seen Lady Bird, the girl who is like kind of originally like flirty with Timothée Chalamet in that movie, Odeya Rush. She's a stunning, stunning, beautiful, gorgeous woman. She's kind of who I pictured. So, I don't know. I don't really remember what they described her as, Scarlett, as in the book, but I just pictured Odeya Rush, kind of, so.
I didn't picture anybody for Scarlett. That's another band name. No more naming your romance characters Scarlett or Anastasia.
Yeah.
There's a billion names.
You're done. Like, you're done with that.
Her name is Scarlett. She's not even a redhead.
I like how we kind of went similar directions with Penelope.
Yeah, I casted Madeline Arthur, Laura Jean Covey's best friend, in To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Period.
She's giving, like, eclectic.
I cast Christine Froseth,
Yeah,
who was
beautiful.
in The Society. She's so stunningly gorgeous. Oh my god.
Yeah, she's actually crazy.
Yeah. So, cool.
Well, going back to the prologue, Scarlett's a bitch from the jump, because in this prologue, they're at a brunch for her birthday, and Penelope is like trying to talk to everybody about her issues with her boyfriend Lucas.
She's clearly drunk and like kind of word vomits it out of nowhere. She's like, yeah, me and Lucas are having like sexual relationship problems.
And Penelope just kind of moves on after realizing she's had half a pitcher of mimosas, and maybe it's like, maybe I should shut up. And then Scarlett thinks to herself, whatever issue they're having, I'm sure it's trivial. God, you're such a bitch. Your friend opening up to you and you saying, I'm sure it's trivial.
I'm sure it's trivial, and like, how dare she imagine a world where like you could have an issue sexually with a man who's so hot?
Yeah.
Girl, what?
Girl, that's my boyfriend. Shut up. Why do you even find my boyfriend hot? You know?
The fact that she's thinking there could not possibly be any issues in your relationship, romantically, sexually, or otherwise, because he's just attractive. Girl, he's a man at the end of the day. Sorry.
She hates it.
I mean, yeah.
But anyways, that's just the prologue. Why have a prologue?
Just to be like, the prologue is like, hey, Scarlett's a bitch. Anyway.
The first actual chapter of the book is the first, I would say, like 80 pages is just different forms of exposition, which I mean, I guess is how a book works, but we find out that she's in therapy because she basically has, if you guys have heard of the twisties, like in gymnastics where they go to do a twist and they can't do it because they're having some kind of mental block. We find out that she has some kind of injury that affected her diving, both physically and mentally. But it's literally a page and a half.
Yeah. This therapy session is quite quick. Very, very quick.
Sam heard what she had to say, and she said, and we're out of time.
No, actually, Scarlett said, we're out of time. She said, you won't be seeing me very much. Oh, then we get some more exposition with her and Penn, and she like walks in on Penn and...
Penn is Penelope's nickname, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Her and Penn and her boyfriend, Lucas, are at the swim and dive... What is it called? They're at the pool. And she walks in on them, basically arguing.
What's the word for when they dive?
What's the place where they go in the water? The pool. And she walks in on them having an argument. And
Go ahead.
basically they're having an argument, and she like walks up to them, and she's like trying to defend or like get her friend out of a situation that she like initially is like, I feel like it might be kind of dangerous. Like there's something very like authoritative about him that's like making me uncomfortable in the situation. And then she walks up and she's like, oh, actually, like it's not giving that at all.
It's just giving he's sexy.
Yeah. I was just like,
so the argument that they're having is literally about how Penelope is feeling a little insecure because Lucas is into, they just call it, quote, kinky shit. Why are y'all having this argument at the pool?
Like we're like
publicly.
We're at 10 minutes from the start of the start of practice, and they're having this argument. And mind you, like we also find out in like the first couple pages that Lucas is like a very famous, like already Olympic gold medalist, and he's well known. He's very attractive. He is from Sweden. He's European. Like he's fine. He's OG fine shit. Okay, but she's like, yeah, like he's very like also unknowable. You know what I mean? Like he's very like mysterious. And
damn, she loves Adam Driver, huh?
Doesn't she? Because he is actually supposed to be like dark haired, right? Like
is Adam Driver Swedish by any chance?
Moving on.
He was medically discharged from the Marines because he fractured his sternum in a mountain biking accident.
Aw, hope he's well though.
Okay.
Anyways.
What?
Hope he's well anyways. So
I hope Adam Driver's okay.
Adam Driver, when you're watching this, we're sending you wishes. So after he walks away from the conversation, Victoria, one of their other friends, pulls up on them, and they run into a closet for some reason, and Penn is like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm thinking about breaking up with him. And Victoria's like, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, Victoria's not understanding. Victoria's like, bitch, he's hot.
Absolutely not understanding. She's like, he's so fucking hot, I don't get it. He's an Olympic gold medalist, he's sexy, he's European. I mean, why would you fucking do that? One has to wonder. And she's like, well, he's into some, like she says, kinky shit. And I don't want to hold him back from those things. And I want to know what it's like to be with other people. Like, I keep wondering what else there could be.
She's really hiding this, I want to break up with him to fuck someone else, under the guise of, I can't do this kinky shit.
She's really trying to make it his issue, when in actuality, she just wants to be with other people, and that's what it is. Which is fine. Mm-hmm. But, like, just say that.
Don't make it his problem.
Yeah. And so, again, Victoria's very not understanding, and she's like, I don't know why the fuck you're having this issue, like,
you need to figure it out.
Yeah. And so they walk out, and the whole time they're having this conversation, Scarlett's like, and she hasn't said anything yet. We don't know this about her yet, but she's like having internalized turmoil, being like, the entire time I'm at practice, I can't stop thinking about it. It's building up inside of me. I'm gonna explode. So after practice, I take Penelope to get coffee, and then I tell her, I too am into kinky shit. It's
just so weird because it's like they're having this like conversation about kinks and stuff in the middle of this coffee shop. They allegedly like only kind of know each other, and she talks about Penn like she's an acquaintance. But I mean, to be fair, and she was like, I thought I could provide some insight onto kinks.
To be fair, I do think that it was, I
didn't like it.
I don't think it was.
I just thought it was weird. I didn't think it was crazy. I just thought it was weird.
I thought her internalized monologue was a little bit weird. Like the way she was like amping herself up the whole time, being like, I'm literally like freaking out about, whatever.
I'm a sexual deviant.
Up until she pulls her to like be like, hey, let's go chat. I thought her internal monologue was like giving, why is she like losing it about this? Mm-hmm. But I didn't think that it was weird for her to tell her friend. I thought it was nice for her to go to her friend and be, especially given how Victoria reacted. Being like, one, I don't know why the fuck you're thinking about this. That's a hot man. Why would you ever leave him? Mm-hmm. And also, ew, why would he be into that stuff? Like, her friend was not only so dismissive, but completely not understanding. I think it was really nice of her to go up to someone who, like, even as an acquaintance.
That's fair. I just
to
hate
build
Ellie
a friend
so much.
I know. even to someone who's an acquaintance, like to build a friendship with them and be like, hey, I know our other friend was not like being understanding. I actually have some experience in this thing, and like I'm here to talk about this if you want to, if you want an ear to listen. Like I thought that was nice. It was just like the internal monologue leading up to it that I was like, why is the girl freaking out? Relax. Like just go up to her and be like, hey, if you want to talk, we can talk. I know about this stuff. We can talk about it. But, you know, the main character is, like, always has to be, like, slightly insufferable. So
yeah, that's
she
true.
was just being, like...
Especially if it's an L.A. Hazelwood book.
Right.
Yeah, and so they have this conversation, and then a few days later, they go to the coach's kickback. By the way, Penelope is also on the diving team.
Yes.
And Penelope drinks 2 fucking, apparently very fermented beers, I guess. And immediately goes up to Lucas and Scarlett and is like, you 2 are freaks. You should fuck. Outing your boyfriend and your friend like that, I feel like that's the thing, is I feel like there was a lot of setup here for us to not like Penelope for one reason or another.
Yeah.
Because obviously Lucas is the main love interest. I don't have to hate Penelope to want Lucas and Scarlett to be together.
Yeah. What is wrong with
you, Allie Hazelwood?
What is wrong with just having the main male character just be... Why couldn't he have been single?
Yeah.
Why couldn't Lucas have just been single and mysterious? Why did he have to be Penelope's man?
Yeah, actually, they've been together since they were 15.
Like, what the fuck?
Being in a relationship for 5 years they've been together like 7 years.
7 years.
That is your entire adult life. And most of your adolescence as well.
Yeah. Like, most of your cognizant adolescence.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, this shit was so odd. Mind you, at this point, she has broken up with him already, I think, right? Like, I think when they're broken up. She has now decided to break up with him. She's already broken up with him.
Also, something that's funny to me is that it's like, she's sitting here being like, well, you guys are into the same stuff. All they know is that they're into kinky shit.
Right.
That could mean literally anything.
Right. Same stuff like how. Mm-hmm. I would have lost my mind, especially if I'm Scarlett and I reached out to you being like, hey, like, I'm an ear for you. If you need to talk about this stuff, I'm here for you. And then you get drunk and in front of your ex-man, you're like, hey, you guys like the same shit. You guys should fuck. I would be so livid. I'd be so upset.
Yeah,
How dare you? Oh my God.
And then also, by the way, Penelope goes, I see the way you look at Scarlett. If we've been dating for 7 years and you're looking at a girl a certain kind of way, everyone's dying. Everyone's dying.
Not just a girl, my friend.
Yeah. Somebody that we have to interact, a teammate, somebody we have to interact with regularly.
On the daily. On the daily. We see her like every day, and I notice you looking at her a certain kind of way every day. Break up with me.
Just kill me.
Put me out of my misery. Hit me like a dog in the street.
Yeah.
Please.
Give me one last pup cup and put me down. Like, enough.
Are you kidding?
Also, all this after 2 beers. Like, she was waiting to say that.
She's like not even drunk. She's like pretending to be drunk.
She says it and then she's like, well, I'm ready to leave.
Yeah, she's like, okay, let's go.
We do get just like some more further exposition of like what diving at Stanford is like, and like campus life and her roommate and other stuff. But the next interaction we get between Lucas and Scarlett, she gets locked in or out of the pool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Actually, both happens.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, so, and the captains have keys to the pool. Why didn't she call the coach? I don't know.
She called Penn, and Penn is on the phone, and she can hear a man on the other side, and she's like, not this bitch is already fucking someone else. And Penn's like, hey girl, I'm busy. I'm gonna call Lucas to come get you. And she's like, oh, can you not? And she's like, no, it's too late, I already did it. He's on the way. Just wait there.
I'm still on Penelope's side, but girl, for real, I hate a bitch that can't walk away from her man. Girl, he'll be there later, I promise.
Calling Lucas. Call the coach. Call someone else.
I'm just gonna
call the janitorial staff.
No, it's fine. I'm just gonna jump in the pool and dry myself. That's fine.
I'll get my swim cap later.
I'll walk home in a swimsuit.
Yeah, I'm fine. No, thank you. You do remember yesterday when you told him that I'm into kinky shit, right?
That's what her and Lucas talk about. When he does come, he's like, well, I guess we should talk about it. We're both sexual deviants. Mind you, this whole time, neither of them actually knows what the other one is into.
Like, again, so lucky. I always say this when, so lucky the other person finds the other person attractive. Because if they didn't, they would be so uncomfortable.
Yeah, imagine if he was uggo. Imagine this conversation happens with your ugly ex-boyfriend, your friend, and you. Mm-mm. 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 No. No. No.
No.
No.
No.
But anyways, they go outside and he's like, you're kind of tense. We should stretch you out. And so they do some stretches in the parking lot.
No, literally.
And then also he's like, wait, why are you so tense? Is it because Penelope's fucking someone else? And that was her. She's like, oh.
she's twisted in like a pretzel, and she's like, ooh.
And then I'm not joking, you guys. Lucas says this long ass text, he says something to her. It's so long about why he's okay with it, why he's happy they broke up, blah blah blah. It's a lot of extra steps and hoops we have to jump through to be okay with them fucking. But also, like, if you're getting with a man like 2 months after his relationship of 7 years just ended, oh girl, you better run. That's never a good idea.
Run.
Girl, you better run.
I mean,
the fact that he was, I know, like, the whole point is that, like, him and Penelope didn't really love each other.
Yeah, and, like, she broke up with him and whatever. We get it. But at the end of the day, he's sitting there like, why would I care when, the block of text. Come on.
It's just a lot. You didn't have to do. Like you said, he could have just been single.
Mind you, when he started stretching her out, I was like, have a baby mommy, baby, be a billionaire.
Okay. One thing about us, we do love an Allie Hazelwood man.
One thing about me, at the end of the day, I am horny. So I am going to read...
so horny.
So I'm going to read it with anger in my heart, but then we'll get to the scene where he's giving her the stretches in the parking lot, and I'm going to be like, and what after that?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm going to reread those sex scenes 100 times at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wrote here in our notes, writing challenge for Allie Hazelwood, because, by the way, I don't know if we mentioned this, but Lucas is Swedish. It's just crazy to me that we got to Swedish before we got to any kind of person of color. Writing challenge for Allie Hazelwood.
Wait, have you read any of her other books? I have not.
All this said, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I've read at least 4.
I've read...
They're all white, by the way. One of them had pink hair, though.
So he... I'm in love with the Nemo girl. Yeah, I've read these 2, but I've also seen the covers of all her books.
It's very white. She said person of color, no, but I do need some diversity.
European. White European. Sweden! Yeah. What? Okay. Writing challenge.
After this interaction, he sends her an email, which another thing about a lot of romance novels nowadays include emailing.
Why are we trying to bring that back?
I know one time I emailed my ex because I was blocked. But other than that, nary an email has ever been sent to a suitor of mine.
Nary.
What are you talking about? Anyways, the email says, the subject line is what you need, and then the body of the email is, if you decide to go for it, I think it should be me.
Ooh, that would work for me.
Oh no, like my pants would have like
flew off.
like
burst into flame.
Like like what's the word? I don't know. Flash paper. Magicians use flash paper.
Right, and it burst.
Yeah, that would be my pants. And my undies. And my undies.
No, literally.
My undies.
You know that one scene in the Hunger Games when she spins and her dress catches on fire and then she turns into the wedding dress? But I'm turning and then I'm just naked.
Since they are pre-med, by the way, like I said earlier, how this is kind of in the same cinematic universe. I don't like that phrase, but in the same cinematic universe as the Love Hypothesis, her professors are Dr. Carlson, Adam Carlson, and the female main character from that book as well.
The AHCU. When I saw Adam Carlson, I got pissed off, but then I remembered how much I was like,
I do love Adam Carlson.
I do love Adam Carlson, yes, I do.
He's definitely the best man of hers that she's ever written.
He was fucking hot.
I've read 4 of them. So, like, girl, she's won. She wins. I lose. So I can say
I lose. Yeah, fair enough.
And also, so Dr. Carlson tells her, your paper was so good, Queen. You need to work with Dr. Smith. So she goes to Dr. Smith and she meets a man named Zach, who hits on her, by the way, because of course, every Allie Hazelwood main character is the thinnest, whitest,
sought after.
most big ass doe eyes, but they're also somehow siren, and her knockers are up to her chin, and you know, and and she's getting hit on by this
mind
man
you,
named
like
Zach.
she's not like describing it like out of nowhere. Like it's giving this is a description in the book. Mm-hmm. Like the men are like tripping over themselves every time they see her,
and then Dr. Smith goes, oh, there's another student athlete coming.
He's also working with you on this project.
Lo and behold, it's Lucas. Of course it is.
Girl, obviously.
Is it not unrealistic enough that they're both on a diving team? And then on top of that, is it not unrealistic enough that they go to Stanford? And then on top of that, isn't it unrealistic enough that
they're also both
same majors? Yeah.
Both pre-med.
Yeah.
What?
Also, she's got to let this STEM thing go. I thought we had moved on. So after the first session of the project, I just want to mention, like I've said like 100 times when it comes to Allie Hazelwood, this girl loves mentioning that her main characters are skinny, and then on top of that, there's a comment. She makes a comment when they go to the dining hall later. She's like, well, everybody else on the team is slender too. I really don't care what the build of these divers is. I don't care.
Why was it important to mention?
My thoughts. It does not plague my thoughts.
I wasn't wondering at all. Why did we have to mention?
Well, so they're athletes. Like, it's not hard to picture that they would be muscular.
Right.
You know? I'm gonna skip through here because there's just some scenes of, like, you know, normal college people shit. And there's so many fucking scenes of Penelope complaining about Lucas to Scarlett, and Scarlett being like, I'm not seeing what she's seeing because he's open as fuck with me. And I understand that it's like you're trying to put in our heads, again, I'm gonna say this over and over and over again, but I understand that she's trying to put in our heads that him and Penelope were not well matched, and that's why he didn't feel comfortable being himself, and that's why she wasn't happy, and they both weren't happy. It wasn't just the sexual incompatibility, there were other things about the relationship that were incompatible as well. But again, I don't give a fuck. This man just broke up with his girlfriend of 7 years, or she broke up with him or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, and honestly, I don't want to have to, like, I'm already starting with a little bit of ugh about them being together. Yeah. It's a romance book, girl. That's the whole plot.
Yeah.
That's the whole plot.
Like,
why are you already starting it off on a bad note?
You're putting a bad taste in my mouth from the beginning.
Why?
I'm already like, well, why the fuck? I don't want her to be, like, now it's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Whole time I'm thinking, like, damn, like, if I'm Pen, I'm, like, gonna find out about this and be like...
the thing is that Penelope can do anything, and I'm still gonna be on her side because I think this is fucked up.
Yeah, low-key.
And Penelope, of course, is very supportive and everything. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Oh, they have a, real quick, this is a really, you know, a little thing, but they have a one scene where they're, like, she's explaining something to him about science, and she draws, like, a diagram on his hand, and then at one of his, like, meets, he wins the race, and his superstitious ass coach is like, yeah, you have to have that diagram on your hand at every meet going forward, otherwise you won't win.
Something that confused me is that she was like, I don't understand how that Venn diagram is, the Venn diagram, that's the only diagram I know. I don't understand how that diagram is still on his hand. I drew that days ago. Ew. Why mention that?
Like, no, I was like,
you can make
he doesn't wash his hands, or...
I think he didn't want to wash it off, but either way...
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Hands are gross.
I was sitting here like, so... Right, I'm like doing mathematics, like, so how many times has he gone to the bathroom, like, since...
Has he been holding his piss for 4 days?
Yeah, like, what's...
He doesn't wash after he pisses.
Ew.
That's the conclusion I'm coming to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, there's, again, this is just like some fun bonding stuff, like, and she mentioned that someone stole her tie-dye ShamWow. We'll come back to this. By the way, they call it a chamois, and I felt like the smartest person alive when I was like, chamois, and then I was like, yeah, because I used to do swim as a small child, and yeah, the divers always had their little ShamWows, and I was like, I always thought it was stupid.
I read that and it
to
went,
like dry themselves off like quickly.
yeah, I heard that and I literally went over my head. It, like,
Well, that's the thing is they don't really explain she doesn't really explain what it is. She's just like
that
my chamois.
That went over my head.
Yeah.
I kept on keeping on. Like yeah.
And again, so that way we don't feel him. Keep in mind, Scarlett and Lucas have not done anything together yet. Penelope is fucking someone else, and at this point they're kind of regular, like exclusive kind of now, and his name is Theo. So Penelope is fucking this hot teacher Theo, and she's like, they're having better sex than her and Lucas ever had, and blah blah blah. Again, I'm not gonna say it again, but y'all know exactly what the purpose of Theo is to make us think, well, Penelope's moved on.
Yeah.
She's a woman. She can do whatever she wants. Okay. And then Victoria breaks her ankle. Damn.
Catching strays. Catching strays. Granted, like,
She's a fun plot device because now Scarlett and Penelope get to be synchro partners.
yeah. Uh-oh. This bitch cannot do
Poor Victoria.
This bitch cannot do an inward dive to save her life.
Oh my god. She can't do it.
Granted, like, Victoria kind of got hers after she literally looked in Penn's face and she was like, why the fuck would you want to break up with a hot man?
So that means she deserves to break her ankle?
It's a book.
Finally, we get something that made my pussy throb.
Ooh, I was down. Ooh.
So, Scarlett, Lucas, and the other person on the project, Zach,
Yeah.
are working in the lab together or something, the study room, whatever.
Yeah.
And Lucas stands up to fill up her water bottle. God. And she stretches her legs out onto his now empty chair, just to stretch her legs out a little bit. And then when he comes to sit back down, she like lifts her legs to like put them back, you know, not on his chair so he can sit down, of course. He grabs her ankles, puts them back down on his lap, and is like literally like groping her legs. And that sounds gross, but I'm just describing it. It was not, my pussy was throbbing, so it was not gross. He was like massaging her ankles.
Yeah, it was, I would say like it was like he was like caressing and like massaging her ankles and like running his hand up her like ankle and like her calf. Mind you, like they're having a regular, or he's like having a regular nonchalant conversation with the other guy across.
Because the other guy can't see
the
because
table.
they're under the table.
And the other guy cannot see. His like nonchalance in the whole thing was so sexy. Like,
I need him. Now picture Nicholas Galitzine doing that to you.
You lost me.
And then she takes the MCAT, and then to celebrate doing the MCAT, she goes to some like swim and dive house party, and she kind of goes upstairs to like a little sunroom to like kind of get away from the party. And he comes up to her and is basically like, "Are you gonna take me up on my offer?" And he sticks his fingers in her mouth. Woo! And then he's like, honestly,
He has
I'm
that
gonna...
bitch panting.
Yeah, and he's like, honestly, I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna leave if you don't say that you want this right now.
He
And of
gives
course
her an
she's
opportunity.
Yeah, she's a puss-ass bitch.
He waits like 10 minutes and they stand in silence and she says nothing.
Imagine.
He gives her a good chance to say something. He's like, I'll give you a chance to say something. If you don't want anything, I'll leave you alone about it. But if you want this, like...
You need to say something.
Yeah. But she doesn't, so he goes back downstairs.
Then 20 minutes later, she sends him an email.
And she's like, when and where? Responding to the email he sent her prior. Period. I mean, yeah. Yeah. But like, why didn't you just say something when he was in the room?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Is it like, it's like, I want this book to be 500 pages, so I'm gonna spread it out. Oh my god. But he doesn't contact her for a little while, because the swim team has a bunch of cuts.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay.
And finally, when he does sit down with her, he's like, okay, I'm gonna give you this list of kinks. You fill it out. And she's like, on the list is like anal fisting and chastity gear. And she's like, that's crazy. I would never be interested in doing all that.
She says it like in a way where she's like, I've looked this stuff up before, like I know what it is. And she says it kind of in a way where she's like, that's a little bit, she doesn't say it in those words exactly, like, I'm not interested in that, like, I would never do that, but the vibe is, like, the way I perceived it was, like,
a little judgmental.
Yeah. And it's, like, but I thought that this was what it was about. I thought that was what we were getting ourselves into. So then she fills out her list, and she's, like, waiting for him to be, like, she texts him, and she's like, okay, I filled it out. We can meet to do this. And again, she's, like, waiting days, and he's, like, busy, so he doesn't contact her for a while.
That would kill me.
I know. I'd be like, bro, can we, like, what's that? You got me in anticipation.
My
like,
pussy's been throbbing.
Right. Like, can a
pussy throb for days on end?
I'm gonna pass away. It cannot be healthy. I have to see a doctor now. I checked myself into the ER. My pussy's been throbbing for days.
They're like, oh, girl, you just need to get in there. you just need the Quinn app.
They prescribe her the Quinn app. Period. I would also prescribe
strict bed rest and the Quinn app.
Yeah, period. I would also prescribe her the same.
Adam and Eve, if you would like to sponsor us. Quinn app, if you would like to sponsor us.
Bellisa.co, if you'd like to sponsor us.
We love the thump on this.
Love the thump.
But they do meet up at the library.
At the library!
Yeah,
to discuss the list.
Girl, the kiss that they have against that wall. She's like digging her nails into his back. He's like choking her.
Bro, he has his hand on her neck, and he like has her head pushed back so far that like she describes the kiss as like nasty. Mind you, I'm listening to this on Audible, and I'm wandering the halls of my apartment building like a lost dog because I'm like so engrossed in what's going on in this library that I can't find my apartment. Yeah. Mind you, I really wanted to see what was on the list, and I wish
we never got to see it. Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so strange to me that it's not on there.
Yeah, granted, also, I don't think she even sees his list. He looks at her list.
No, she does.
She does?
Yeah,
okay.
Because she says, she describes them as being identical.
Right. She takes it back with her to her house. Yeah, because he saw hers in the library, and then he kissed her, and then she takes his home. And she looks at it there. And
then Penelope texts her and is like, we need to talk, Queen. And then they meet up and she's like, I fucking told you, didn't I? And then she gives her, again, this long block of text about being like, I was the one who initiated the breakup. I'm seeing someone else, girl. It's fine. But the thing is that it's like, you're wasting your fucking energy typing this all out when you could simply just not make the main characters.
Yeah.
In a love triangle.
Right. Simply just not. Simply.
And also, the way that Penelope kink shames them, it's like, you're Allie Hazelwood, it's serving, and also, she doesn't kink shame them for, like, the control thing. Mm-hmm. It's hard to romanticize being flogged, right? But they're not doing any flogging in this book, so it's kind of serving you're being a little kink shamey.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
That's coming from me, the queen of kink shaming.
Wait, don't say that. Don't say that.
That's why I lowered my voice.
They can still hear you.
Finally, we have our first smut scene. She goes to the lab and he is there for some reason. I really don't know why. He kind of just shows up in a lot of places.
No, like, she's like, I go in the lab and there's nobody here, so I turn on the light, and then suddenly he appears. Oh. He like turns on the light and he's just sitting there. Hey. Please.
And she goes down on him in the middle of the lab. He is so goddamn sexy. I guess we should probably talk about it because we probably should talk about like what in terms of like.
Well, so basically, what they do like, what they're.
Basically, she's relinquishing like all of her control.
Yeah.
It's kind of giving a little bit consensual, non-consenting, but not really because of course. No, it's kind of giving consensual non-consent. That's what I would kind of describe it as. As in, like, he tells her what to do and she just does it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very much so agreed upon. Mm-hmm. And he's like, if we have a safe word, it's, you say stop, and I stop. Mm-hmm. And he's like, if you want, they really are, they're very clear about, like, you know, what it is that, like, they like and what they don't like. And that, like, you know, if she has a limit or things get out of hand, she's like, you tell me to stop and things halt. Mm-hmm. So, you know.
That said, I was so horny.
My God. No, the thing is, I was
wandering the halls is a great way to describe the way that I felt in this moment.
Yeah, like I literally was. Like, I'm not even joking. I was wandering the halls of I couldn't find my apartment. Like,
you didn't even need the thump.
I didn't. The thing is too, like, I was sitting here. I also, like, the thing about this too is that there were a lot of points here where, like, in her internal monologue, Scarlett is being like, I must be like so depraved and crazy, and I'm sitting back feminism so many years, or maybe it's just regular and I shouldn't feel bad. And I'm like, you saying maybe I'm sitting back feminism, but it's okay, maybe this is just how I am. Like, why are you prefacing it with this and then going back and saying this is just okay and this is just how I am? It is okay, and it is just how she is, and that's fine. Like, you can't, I just feel like it was pissing me off too, because it's like, okay, maybe you said it once and it's like, but then move on from it. But it was like, I feel like every time there was a sexual scene or something was going on, there was a comment like that made in her internal monologue, and I was like, stop. She doesn't have to think, like, why is she having this, like, you know, I get there's, like, the internalized shame of it, I suppose, but, like...
It wasn't giving shame, though. It was giving... That's the thing about Allie Hazelwood, is it all feels very condescending and, like...
Yeah, I don't know. It was making me upset, too, because it was, like... She also, I felt like, tried to make her Scarlett be, like, I'm okay with that, I'm like this, because she reached out to Penn being like, hey, I'm also into this kind of stuff if you need someone to talk to about it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was like, I'm confused. Is she, like, okay with it or not? Like, And so I was like, this makes me... irritated also because I'm like, at the end of the day also, like, I felt like a lot of this stuff is like, all of this stuff is completely regular, mind you. Like,
saying it's BDSM is a little crazy.
Right, like, this is a very power control stuff. Like, I feel like this is on, like, the very, like, the lighter side of, like, BDSM.
Yeah, and given that, like, the way this book was advertised, it was giving it was gonna be 50 Shades of Grey, and it just was not. Yeah, like, I would assuredly say that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know that much about, like, all this stuff, and I could certainly, you know, do my research and learn more. I definitely looked into it a little bit to, like, learn more about what they were talking about when they discussed stuff in here, but, like, they only went into, like, you know, this, like, power dynamic, consensual non-consent stuff. And to be quite fair, when I was reading this, I was like, if this girl's calling herself, like, depraved, I guess I'm depraved too. Yeah. This all sounds like stuff I like. I guess I need to be sent to prison.
No, like, I was like, well, if this
Allie Hazelwood is absolutely petrified to see what's in my Quinn listening history. Then.
No, like, I was like, the way these characters are talking about them, I'm like, they're trying to make me feel ashamed. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what it felt like.
Like, I'm starting to feel, like, attacked here. Like, this sounds like all stuff that I enjoy. So...
I also don't know why he's Swedish. I really don't get it. Sorry.
We're 300 pages in and you're like, why is he Swedish?
I mean, like, he could have been black. And instead you were like, he could have been Swedish.
He could have been anything. He literally could have been Caribbean. He could have been from Latin American. He could have been anything.
No, Swedish. No.
The thing against the Swedish people is just
maybe
like, so random.
Maybe she's just like, no, I can't be inspired if I'm not thinking about Adam Driver. I just can't fucking do that. I'm sorry. Like, maybe that's what it is.
She's watching this like, girl, you have some nerve when you think about Nicholas Galitzine literally every time you read a book.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what the description is either. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the description is. I'm still picturing him. I'm like, he can be blonde in this. That's fine.
Yeah, fair point.
They go back to his house after, and the roommates yet again remind us of the history between Penn and Lucas. That's another thing. It's like you kind of want us to forget it, but you also don't. Yeah. Because the roommates are like, oh, I thought you were Penelope. I guess it's some other girl you're fucking. Oh. And they do have there is another sex scene. There's no penetration.
No penetration here. He's just, you know,
rubbing.
Because he's not tested yet, and he's like, I wanna fuck without a condom.
I also think this is harmful. Guys, STDs are really real, and
you can still spread STDs without... You can spread STDs without penetration.
And I hate to bring up Hannah Grace yet again, but Hannah Grace, in every single book, the man is pushing for a condom because that is what you should that's what you should be promoting, is safe, consensual sex. Because also, I think they mentioned, like, men want to fuck without a condom because it's a control thing. It's not because it feels any better. Point blank, period. So putting it in your book that he comes inside of her, that is a control thing. It's also a kink, but that said, it's still about control, and it's still wanting to defile a woman in some kind of way, in my opinion. So putting it in your book, choosing to say, I'm not gonna fuck you without a condom. Also, that's how you end up pregnant. Wear a condom.
It's also very, like, it's a very controlling thing, too. And it's, like, I get that I don't know.
I'm sure it's kind of the point.
Yeah, I was, like, kind of the point, I guess, but also blurring the lines a little bit, because at a certain, like, that's a little bit, like, it feels like it's blurring the lines, because then we're getting into a space of, like, well, then I can also, like, you know, that's my body, and it could harm me physically, but, you know, I could get pregnant, you know, but, you know, I don't know.
I think when you're writing, like, I'm not trying to shame, obviously, if you are with a partner and you're only having sex with them and you feel safe and comfortable not using a condom, that's fine. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, like...
I've done that.
If you're for sure. If you're writing a smutty book that's going to be read by especially young women in their 20s...
Yeah.
And this one is a college romance, so this one I could even say is directed at people even younger than us.
Yeah.
Making it seem like it's normal and okay for men to fuck you without a condom, because that's the thing, is it's in every single one of her books.
Yeah.
It is a major plot. It is she goes out of her way to mention that they're fucking without a condom.
And it's also,
and that puts a ton of pressure on the woman. It puts no pressure on the man.
Yeah.
But it puts a lot of pressure on the woman. I think that this is harmful, and you shouldn't be doing it.
It's also, like, it's also in this particular sex scene in specifically, the fact that he says, like, I want to fuck you without a condom, and so I'm gonna get tested first, but because we can't, and we're not gonna have, like, penetrative sex, I'm still gonna, like, take my dick out and rub against your, like, you know, exposed...
Yeah, at this point, you haven't even been tested yet, so...
You haven't been tested, but you can still, like, you might as well just enter. Like it's, you're, hello?
Yeah.
There's no barrier. Like, there's fluids, it's, like, everything's exposed, you're rubbing against, like, what are you actually preventing? Like, how does that make sense?
Nothing.
Like, if you really think about it, what was the point? Like, girl.
That said, let's just move on. We can talk about this forever if we really wanted to.
Mind you, also, nobody knows that Penn and Lucas are broken up.
Yeah, so Penelope is like, I don't want to make a whole big thing about it, so we're just gonna lie and tell everybody that we're still dating.
Right, they're like, oh, Scarlett, what are you doing here? They're like, oh, we're working on our science project. 10 minutes later, they hear this bitch screaming in his room. They're like, what the fuck? Hello?
Yeah. Anyways, she literally just gets up and leaves.
In the morning, he's asleep, and she just walks the fuck out.
I hate when romance novel characters do this. Like,
it's mean.
That's so mean.
It's mean.
And,
never okay.
And then he ghosts her for 2 weeks.
Ooh. And she's like, why did you guys bring me back? Well.
And the only reason that they reconnect is because she's talking to Lucas outside of the pool, and then,
they bump into each other and she's like, oh, hey.
And then the brother is like, why don't you just come on a hike with us?
Right, because she's like, did you ghost me? And he's like, yeah, for sure I did. Which gagged me, by the way. And then the brother walks around the corner, and she's like, oh. And then the brother's like, hiking? ? And she just goes, girl, I would not be going hiking with you if you just said, yes, I ghosted you. Yes, ma'am, I did. Oh, no.
Well, I'm not going hiking.
I'm not going hiking, period. But
yeah, that's a sentence. I'm not going hiking.
Yeah.
But the brother's just a plot device because the brother tells Scarlett that Lucas tends to punish himself when he feels out of control, and his biggest example of this is that Lucas he got a new mattress, and he liked the mattress too much, so to punish himself, he slept on the floor.
What?
And so she's like, wait, so is that why you ghosted me? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, girl, yeah.
Oh my god, wait. Is that why men ghost? Does that mean I still have a chance?
Bitch, I literally was like, I think I was in the middle of folding my clothes during that one, and I literally stopped, and I was like, what, girl, what?
At a certain point.
What, girl, what?
Also, there's a comment, Allie Hazelwood, when I get you, there's a comment that, Jan makes, and he's like, are you one of those athletes that needs tens of thousands calories a day? And then she goes, I don't think anyone needs that. If you're gonna bring up calories in a romance novel, it better be to say, I love calories. I love eating. And I hate working out.
because that just could have got cut out.
Mm-hmm. Why are you mentioning calories in a romance novel? I want to read the word cock. Not calories. The only C word I want to hear is cock.
Yeah. Yeah. That could have been cut out. Point blank.
There are many, many meets in this book, and there is a meet, and she cannot do the damn dive to save her fucking life.
No.
No, she can't do it.
No.
But they do go to a party after, and she's getting drunk because she's like, I can't do that damn dive to save my fucking life.
Yeah.
And he sees her talking to another guy.
A loser.
His name was like Tyler or something.
Yeah.
Men named Tyler, Josh, or Jack.
Get out of here.
No, those are like...
You're done.
Those are,
The Three Horsemen of the Apocalypse? Yeah.
So he comes up to her and he's like,
In front of his face, he's like, do you want this loser to get out of here? And she's like... No,
and the loser's like, no, she likes me.
No, the loser is like, oh my god, are you the Olympian? Humiliating.
And he's like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, anyway, do you want this loser to get out of here? So hot.
But they apologize and they go back to his house and yeah, they fuck.
Hard. And she wakes up in the morning and she's literally looking at herself in the mirror and she's like, I look like I've been used and abused and I love it. Which I was like, okay.
I was kind of there, yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of there. Like that I feel like is a little bit more of a kinkier, like that's certainly not vanilla.
And then she's like very bruised everywhere all over her body and is like, I need that. Yeah. Yeah. And so he's like, she walks out and then they fuck again, I'm pretty sure, or something. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, let's go get breakfast. So they go pick up some like bagels or something and they drive out to like an overlook and they're eating they sit down to eat and she eats her bagel. And then she makes some comment, or he like tries to hand her another one and she makes some comment about like, oh, I didn't feel like I deserved to eat another one or something.
I haven't
like
eaten
that.
since the competition yesterday because I didn't feel like I deserved to eat.
It feels like we're just like randomly sprinkling in an eating disorder out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's just kind of
for
like,
no reason.
You
triggering.
Should never, that's triggering, and like, you never know what you say. Like, you never know how how your words can affect somebody, especially when it comes to eating disorder talk.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact you know that this can really hurt someone, and putting it in their mind that they deserve to eat.
Like what?
And then at the end of the day, she eats it though because a man tells her to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Girl.
And I get that like there's like some kind of thing where they're like they don't talk really a lot, but like they're like looking at each other and like it becomes like a moment of their like power dynamic, and I get that it becomes a moment of like that's included in that, but in the situation I was like,
it just doesn't need to be.
It's out of the bedroom.
Harmful.
It's out of the bedroom, and it's like it's out of the bedroom.
It's too harmful, girl.
And it's I don't know. It didn't
need to be in there, especially because in your previous books you mentioned how your female main character's stomach concaves.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. We took it out of the bedroom now, and not now. It's just like, why are we doing that?
And then he's like, wait, we should go hiking. And then Penelope calls and ditches her.
And yeah, he's like, I gotta go pick that bitch up.
I hate the forced conflict here though, because it's kind of like, you know, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't. If he hadn't been dating her from the jump.
Yeah, like he could have been single. Mm-hmm. They could have gone hiking.
Why wasn't he single? One has to wonder.
One has to wonder why we have to pit women against each other.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like we can figure out other conflicts to use as plot devices. I don't know. We can figure it out.
Going forward, right now, in the middle of this book, there's just so much happening with little relevance to the actual story.
Yeah.
Here are some notes that we wrote here. He keeps showing up at her apartment. Just showing up there, and she's like, wait, how do you know where I live? And there are kind of comments like that he makes throughout the whole book where he's like, I'm always watching you just don't see me. But he never really explains that because it's like, wait, how do you know where I live?
Yeah. It's like on the one hand...
I would love for you to expand on that.
I love, like, because I love how it's like, okay,
I love
on the
the
one
man that takes charge.
Yeah. On the one hand, it's like, I see how that could, like, be perceived as, like, you know when you're watching a movie and it's, like, the romance music is playing and everything is so wonderful and it's, like, I've always been paying attention to you just didn't know. And it's, like, oh, like, that's so romantic, like, whatever. Well, but it's, like, if you put the, like, scary horror music music over that,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, what the fuck? I've always been watching you just didn't know.
Well, what do you mean you know where I live?
Yeah, like, how do you know where I live? Have you been following me? Like, it's like one of those things where it's like, if you look at it from a different angle, how do you know have you been following me? What do you mean by that?
And we wrote here that it does kind of seem like, that's why I think it felt like this was kind of like an unresolved plot line, because it kind of, to me, was referencing that he might be deviant in other places of his life.
And it's like, why are we trying to make that kind of, like...
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, why are we trying to make that kind of assumption about him in a book
I just want to think about Nicholas Galaxy.
Why are we trying to make that kind of reference about him in a book where we're discussing, like, you know, sexual kinks and BDSM and things that are, like, taboo to talk about and are, like, definitely misrepresented in culture and have, like, a lot of people have, like, a negative connotation of them, and putting them in a situation where someone could be like, yeah, well, you see, like, clearly, if someone's doing this, then they could definitely be, you know, a stalker or doing that. Like, that's off. Why would you put that in a, you know? Someone could easily jump to that kind of conclusion out of nowhere. That's weird. What? What?
They also have, I'll tell you what, they also have many, many deep conversations, just as every single romance novel does. And one of them is they talk about how on the day of her injury, her abusive dad had just reached out, and her stupid fuck-ass boyfriend, Josh, of course, had broken up with her the day of the NAACP. The NCAAs, not the NAACP. That's okay, girl. That's okay, girl. That's okay. So he's like, so it sounds to me like you were off your game that day, and then you got injured as a result of you were distracted. But after they have this deep conversation, she's like, I think I can do my dive. Let's go to the diving well and do my dive. And then they fuck in the locker room, and it was so
after
sexy.
She perfectly executes the dive, by the way.
Oh right, yeah, because a man helped her.
Don't forget, she perfectly executes the dive after failing over and over and over and over and over and over again the entire time.
Because a man is there.
Yeah.
It's just like, why even have her be in therapy if you're not going to take the therapy seriously at all? If you're not going to handle mental health with the care that it deserves, then don't put it in your book. Because why was it even there? Because all these chapters, by the way, of her and this therapist, she's dogging on that therapist.
No, like, what was the point? It's like, why even put it in there? Is the messaging supposed to be like...
If you get a man, your problems will be solved.
Literally. The messaging so far I've gotten is, if you get a man, your problems will be solved. If you're into freaky shit, you could possibly be into, like, even things that are even, like, worse. What
men do not
that?
solve problems. They are problems. They're not solving anything. Oh my god.
It's like, I feel like she's trying to be like, I have, like, a lot of progressive stuff in my books, but then, like, actually she doesn't. And she has, like, a lot of subliminal messaging that she doesn't even realize.
That's the opposite.
That's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, like her going to therapy and like literally having none of these realizations. Like that's what I'm saying, is that it's like, I wouldn't have been mad that he helped her figure out the dive if it weren't for the fact that she was actively in therapy. You clearly don't respect therapists, and you clearly don't understand the work that they're doing.
And also, like, there was a whole point where she was like, yeah, I started ghosting my therapist, and like, I rescheduled, I like canceled my session, and then I just didn't reschedule and didn't go back.
Just cut it. Just cut it. It doesn't need to be in the book. It didn't add anything.
I knew the moment that I knew from the first chapter when she was like, I'm at therapy, I was like, oh, he's gonna help her. He's gonna figure out her problems for her. I knew it.
After they fuck in the locker room, he convinces her to check her MCAT, aka the doctor test, I guess. I don't know.
Doctor test?
I don't know what the MCAT is. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The doctor test. I assume it's like the bar. I don't know. And she gets a 526 out of 528. We Googled it. That puts her in the 100th percentile.
That is extraordinarily rare.
Girl,
extraordinarily rare. Do not piss me off. Do not piss me off. Really? Really? So not only
is he an Olympian,
and they both attend Stanford.
Allison?
Alexandra? I don't know what your name is. You're going to piss me off.
Although she does spell her name the cuntiest way.
Yeah.
A-L-I. cunt.
The thing is, like, can you imagine? She's like, I actually broke the measuring scale. Like, I got my score was so good. Like,
They gave me bonus points for penmanship.
Like, that's so annoying. A 526. Goodbye.
But immediately after, it's time for yet another meet. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised that there's this many meets. They're at they're collegiate athletes, so like, I guess so.
Yeah.
But she goes to this diving meet in New Orleans, and she's there with her stepmom because her stepmom is great and her abusive father can die. That's all I'm gonna say. And some girl comes up to her, and her name is Carissa, and she's like, "Let's go to dinner, queen." Okay. And she's like, I'm trying to be more social. I'm trying to be nicer. Yeah. So I'll go to dinner with Carissa. And Carissa's like, man, watch out for Penelope. She's a fucking snake. Oh. I'm gonna tell you what happened now just to save the time. The reason that Carissa doesn't like Penelope is that Penelope reported Carissa's mom and got her fired because they all used to be on a diving team together that Carissa's mom coached. And Carissa's mom would apparently just verbally abuse these small children. And Penelope reported Carissa's mom and was like,
someone's got to gaff about this.
I know it gaff, but someone needs to gaff.
Yeah.
Someone needs to lock in and gaff.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the Carissa situation. It comes back later, but I already forgot to put it in the outline, so I know I'm going to forget it later. Mm-hmm. So let's just go ahead and say it now.
Yeah.
And Scarlett just goes, well, I hope you have explosive diarrhea when you're doing your dive later.
I just also need to mention here that, like, the humor in here, like, millennials, we say it every time. Millennial humor is so annoying. What?
He calls her a troll.
All the time. What?
Well, he explains that later is that troll's like affectionate in Swedish, I guess. Okay, well, it's annoying to me. So what now? So cut it, okay? And after Carissa confronts Penelope, she's like, I need to talk to Lucas right now. So it's like, clearly, like, their relationship was not as bad as you want us to believe.
She has some kind of attachment to him.
Yeah, literally.
That she's, after all this time, she's still going to him when she's, like, feeling really low.
That said, she gets a silver medal, and she's going to go for the Olympics. But I don't know what that means. Is it the literal Olympics, or is this something else?
Why would it not be the literal Olympics? As opposed to what Olympics?
College Olympics?
College Olympics?
Colympics?
Ew, I looked at the emoji. I looked like the straight-faced emoji. Just then.
She goes to yet another party, by the way, to celebrate her, to celebrate and everything. Mm-hmm. And also, I just want to mention, Victoria makes a comment. She's like, damn, I never see you at any parties. Then why are there 72 party scenes in this book?
And she's always at them.
God.
Yeah.
Like, but after they fuck at the party, mm-hmm. They go downstairs and she overhears Lucas talking to his roommates, and he's like, yeah, y'all can fuck Penelope if you want to, which is crazy. Pimping out your ex-girlfriend is crazy. Mm-mm. Y'all can fuck, you can fuck Penelope all you want, but Vandy's off limits. Vandy is Scarlet. I actually like that nickname. Yeah, they go to another competition, and this is important. She does meet a coach who basically puts her in her place and is like, I understand that your level of difficulty was better before your injury, but you're never getting back there, and you need to admit that, and you need to work with what you can do now and make that better and go from there. And she's like, okay, period.
Yeah, she's like, you're right, queen. I will do that.
And her and Lucas just kind of do some fun touristy stuff. Honestly, I was skipping over this.
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to it, but, like, you know, I was listening to it while I was, like, doing my laundry, cooking and cleaning.
You were wandering the halls.
I wasn't wandering the halls at all.
But they do fuck in the hotel room, and she comes within 15 seconds of penetration, which is just crazy. And also, I love a hotel room fuck, though, so I'm willing to forgive it a little bit. And
just the atmosphere of the hotel made her come within 15 seconds.
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys. While she's shaving his back, we find out that him and Penelope have had many, many threesomes with men and women. And so he's sitting here calling her vanilla? If a man asks me to have a threesome, I'm killing myself. I'm gonna grow a cactus, and then I'm gonna hit you with the cactus.
Oh.
Not to kink shame. I just can't handle that.
Which is fair enough. I mean, everyone has their different limitations, you know?
But it's just crazy that he was sitting there being like,
yeah,
it was breakup worthy for us to say we're not sexually compatible. Meanwhile, they're having sex with men and women.
Yeah, it's just like calling her very vanilla and all that after, like, you know, she's willing to have, I wouldn't call her vanilla.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And when we talk, when they're having this conversation, he was like, yeah, I never asked for anybody, but I did ask for you.
That's where I was like, I'll grow the cactus. Because what do you mean?
That's crazy.
What do you mean?
That's crazy. It also kind of makes you look a little bit like a creep. Like you've been waiting. You've kind of been waiting.
No, if I'm in every angle, this is weird. Yeah. Because if I'm sitting here and my man is like, after like several weeks of me noticing him look at you with like a certain like je ne sais quoi. And I'm like,
if your boyfriend is ever looking, if anyone's boyfriend is ever looking at me with a certain, not that it would ever happen, but if it did, in this hypothetical situation, cactus. Again, cactus.
Again, after several weeks of this, several years even, and then out of nowhere, he's like, one day we're like sitting on the couch just talking, watching TV, and he's like, what do you think about having a threesome with Jess? My cactus is going straight to the face, to the jugular.
He's like, wait, where'd that cactus come from?
It's been in my pocket. What the fuck? Break up with me.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Oh my god. But then also, on the flippity flop, Vandy, I'd be like, oh.
I'd be like, you're a creep. You're a creep. You're a creep. You're a creep. You're a creep.
Oh.
You're a creep. You're a creep.
Oh.
You're a creep. When they're flying home from Amsterdam, she takes out her phone to do something for him, and he sees in her phone, he's like, you still have my phone name saved in your phone as Lucas Penelope? And she was like, oh yeah.
Why? Like, but why?
And then he changes it to Lucas Scarlet. I just wanted to mention that. We're getting to the seriousness. Of it all. Scarlett and Lucas go to a volleyball game together, and they're like, we should go fuck in the closet. So they do, and Lucas tells her he loves her in Swedish. I was, the thump was out during the scene. It was good.
I can't. We should go fuck in the closet.
I'm gonna try that sometime.
Please. You actually go to a volleyball game.
No, I would never do that.
Yeah, that was a good scene though. That was.
And then, like I said, things are trying to get serious because now Penelope and Theo break up. And she's basically like, well, guess I have to take Lucas back now. And to be fair, that's kind of annoying. And then Scarlett is like, well, is it possible that you guys never truly loved each other and you guys are just bonded together because of the traumatic experiences you guys had when you were kids? If I dated someone for 7 fucking years and someone said that to me, I'd be like, that is so disrespectful and rude.
Out of line.
You have some goddamn nerve.
You don't know anything about our relationship. We became friends this year. As much as you know about our situation, you don't know that much. Stay in your fucking lane.
We dated for... Also, like, even if that were true, that is a really fucking mean thing to say to a friend. Do you think your boyfriend of 7 years ever actually loved you? Oh, so I'm an unlovable...
swine. Like, thanks, no worries.
Oh, so I look like Remy the Rat.
No worries, thank you. Okay, so then, Pen clocks her tea so fucking bad. She clocks her shit bad.
Yeah, she goes, whether me and Lucas fell in love because we bonded over a traumatic experience or not, I think that's a much better way to fall in love than sharing, sharing the same fetish.
Which is not a nice thing to say.
No, you deserved it. But if you look me dead in my face and say, I think you're on a lovable swine that looks like Remy the Rat.
Hold on, let me finish.
You look like Remy the Rat and a pig had a baby.
Bitches can never let me finish. I was gonna say, that is not a nice thing to say, obviously. But, if you want to get funny, we can get fucking hilarious. Yeah. You have some fucking nerve to say that shit to me. I'm gonna clap back 3 times harder.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No,
now
you
we're boxing and I'm the villain?
Yeah, no.
I'm the bad guy?
What did you want me to say? You wanted me to sit there and say, oh yeah, maybe he didn't love me.
You're right, maybe we didn't love each other.
Maybe the inside of my puss felt like a cactus to him. You must be right.
Yeah. Huh.
Kill yourself.
I never thought about it that way.
Especially when you're fucking my ex.
I never thought about it that way.
She kind of ghosts Lucas a little bit, and then Lucas shows up at her apartment and is like, girl, what's tea? And then she's like, we need to chill because Penn is hurting. And he's mad as fuck.
No,
he was like, oh yeah, Penn and her goddamn delusions. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then they have anal. With no lube. Bitches be afraid of lube. Lube is your friend.
Yeah.
Guys, put the lube on the thump. There's just so much happening.
Yeah.
And then in the next chapter, they're kind of forced to put their little situationship on pause because Penelope gets a false positive on one of her drug tests. Makes it look like she's taking steroids. So she lives in Lucas's apartment.
That pissed me off.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. The fact that she was like, well, they were like, I don't think you should be alone. Well, Lucas, can I stay with you? Lucas should have said, fuck no.
Yeah.
You love me, no?
Especially at how mad he was that she was having fucking delusions.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like you were fucking pissed off. Now you could let her live in your apartment.
Yeah, no, if I'm Penelope, I'm like, I'm back in.
No, like, we're good. We're solid. We're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
So back.
We're back and we're better.
Yeah. But it's fine because it was a false positive, so we move on from it. It's finally time for the most important event of the season. But Scarlet wins. She gets the best. She wins. I don't know what that means, but she wins. I don't know what that means. But she starts to panic a little bit. She's like, wow, it's a lot of attention. It's a lot of overwhelming stuff happening here. So she kind of just runs away and hides. And then Lucas comes up to her and they're hugging romantically.
Yeah.
And Penelope walks up behind them and goes, damn, Scarlet, this whole time did you just want to be me? Ooh. Ooh.
Baby girl, you just need to take a breath.
Yeah, baby girl, and mind you, all of the rest of the girls in the dive team are there, and they don't know that Penelope and Scarlet have broken up, so they think that they're just publicly cheating on Penelope right in the middle of this diving event, and Lucas turns around and he goes, I'm so sick of this shit. Penelope, tell them! He's so mad!
He's like, girl, I'm sick of your bullshit! We are not together!
Please, enough is enough.
No, he's like, I'm not saying it. You say it.
I didn't want to do this in the first place.
I don't gaff about you. You say it.
And then she goes, a year ago, I had a boyfriend that I was in love with, and I was favored to win the NCAAs. And now you have both. Kill yourself. I don't think she's valid in being angry. I think this is a conversation you go home, you have that with the girls. You don't say it to her because it's not your fault. It's not her fault that you lost. And you told her to go after Lucas. This is your fault. But now if I was her friend and we were sitting on the couch having some wine later that afternoon, I would say, yeah, that sounds really painful, girl. Yeah,
this is definitely painful. This is definitely painful. No one's saying it's not. But you have to face the consequences of your actions. You do. You did get drunk off one beer and say, you guys should fuck, you like the same stuff. So
you guys are freaks.
Yeah, you guys should freak it. So, I don't know. I feel like you need to take that with a grain of salt and be like, well, I did kind of put this together myself. Uh-huh. And also, I did break up with him. Yeah. So, yeah.
That said, it's so embarrassing because she goes, a couple months ago, you and I were in love. What, now you're in love with two people? And he just says no. Oh. This is a public humiliation of massive proportions.
I wrote that in the notes because it was.
And indeed it was.
It was massive proportions. They would have seen me walk up to the diving thing and then just like catapult off. Not diving. I'm not trying to dive.
Whatever's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
Whatever dive is gonna kill me, I'm doing that dive.
I'm doing that dive. That's the dive I'm doing.
I'm pushing the lifeguard tower into the pool. Something has got to happen.
Oh god. Like this, ooh.
I'm gonna be like, hold on, I'm gonna jump off to the stand and then I'm gonna jump off them.
Yeah, like this is,
that is
oh god.
So embarrassing.
Yeah, and then obviously because there's only 10 pages left of this book, Scarlett's like, yeah, we have to break up.
I'm not joking. This was on page 420. This book itself is 448 pages. Just don't do a third act breakup.
Yeah.
And she also uses his safe word against her, and she goes, stop. And he goes, ugh.
Yeah, that was awful.
It's shocking.
No. Like, the female main character...
I wasn't shocked by the third act breakup. I was shocked by that. Yeah.
The third act breakup, it happens every time.
Yeah, Ellie Hazelwood, enough.
Put the pen down! It's part for the course, but that was awful. I was like,
not
really?
good, babe.
Really? It's really another writing challenge. Write a female main character who can communicate and who is not just awful to the man that she's with. Like, what the fuck? Why couldn't it just have been that she rekindles her relationship with her friend in the end? Why did it have to be that there's a problem with her friend and that she breaks up with him?
Yeah, so she dips. She's like, I gotta go. And she goes back home for a full 10 days and doesn't talk to anyone. Penelope, who's paying for these flights? Because Penelope flies out to, I think she's from Missouri, flies out to California to Missouri. That's probably not a cheap, well, who's flying to Missouri? Whatever. She flies all the way there and apologizes. Girl, would a phone call not have sufficed? And also, I feel like a conversation needed to have. She didn't need this whole grand gesture.
It's not a one, yeah.
Because frankly, even if I tell you it's okay to go after my ex, if you still do that, damn, you hate me.
You hate me.
You hate my ass.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not, it did not need to be a one-sided apology. They needed to have a two-way apology and conversation.
They both, yeah.
They both needed to apologize and they both had to have a conversation. They were both in the wrong.
That said.
Then Scarlett's like, I need to go find my man. My man.
So she's in cahoots with the brother, and she goes to what I assume is Stockholm. Because also, why is he in Stockholm? Or isn't it the middle of the school year?
Whatever. She goes to find him. She flies to wherever he is at. She GPS locates his location, and she goes to do her big grand gesture and.
They admit they're in love.
Yeah.
And then in the epilogue, they're both doctors at the same hospital, and they have a cat.
It's Grey's Anatomy.
Named Carl.
And, yeah.
Oh, and she learned Swedish.
And she's fluent. Even though the entire book, she cannot speak a word of German, even though she's taking a German class.
Literally suffering so bad about trying to figure out German.
Yeah. But, you know, the power of love can fix anything. So.
Why did he go back to Sweden?
Frankly, I'd be like, yeah, can we move back to Sweden? I don't want to be here. Anyway, that was the book. What's your rating?
So, it's gonna come as a shock. I rated it a 2 because frankly, some of those smut scenes were crazy style.
Yeah, no, that was nasty.
Yeah, they were really good. I enjoyed them. That said. I think a lot of the writing in this book is just bad. Like, there's, like, a lot of...
Here come the men. Football's coming.
Yeah, it is Super Bowl Sunday. It's loud in D.C. today.
Yeah.
As it is in every city.
Yeah. But yeah, both of the points I gave it were for the wandering of the halls. Every time the sex scenes were happening.
Yeah.
Everything else, it was like the writing was bad. I was getting triggered here and there. Yeah, and like I feel like there was definitely some like dangerous like
and the story wasn't really that good either. I'm not even gonna lie.
Too, yeah. There was definitely some like I feel like some dangerous like undertones of some of the like how some she was telling the story.
Yeah, and some of the like discussions of kink. It would be like, I might like to be called a good girl, but I would never want to be tied up to the bed. Okay,
why not?
Okay,
like some people like that.
Yeah, and some people don't want to be called good girl. What if I shamed you for that? Would that be pleasant?
No. Like, it's like we can't claim to be like uplifting and then also I putting other people down in the same breath.
I also docked points for the therapist just kind of goes away.
That.
And the science project just kind of goes away.
That.
The main focus for her was her diving, which is fine, but like then don't make them be in pre-med.
Yeah. Like, it just, we were looking for an excuse to have them, like, fuck in the, or either in the lab, or we were looking for an excuse to bring back Adam Driver, I don't know. But either way, we didn't need to have that. They could have just been in the library or something. Like, we didn't need to have that. So, yeah, again, both of my 2 points were for the sheer one, the nastiness and the wandering of the halls. I have
to know, did she go to Stanford? Yeah, she has a PhD from Stanford.
That's making a lot of sense.
Oh, and she was a professor there.
It's making a lot of sense.
She took a break from academia in 2023 to focus on writing. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, well, either way.
That's why she's putting out a book a year. Goddamn. You could stand to edit them a little more.
Yeah.
All that said, I'm only being so mean because I think a lot of her content is very harmful. I think a lot of the comments being made, like you said, about like food and eating and body image is very harmful. I think a lot of the sex scenes contain some talks that's pretty harmful. And she's clearly not stupid. She has a PhD from Stanford. She's way smarter than I am.
Very well educated.
So that's the only reason I'm being so hard on her.
Yeah.
Is the harmfulness of it all.
I feel like there's a lot of harmful rhetoric in her books that I feel like doesn't need to be there. It's a work of fiction at the end of the day. It couldn't be cut.
Also, I never mentioned this earlier, but she also uses the word cunt instead of puss in this book a lot, which is a change of pace for her. She normally doesn't say that word.
Yeah.
I don't like that word.
It did shock me. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't like that word. Well, actually, I love that word, but not in this context.
No, not the way she used it. It was shocking. Anyway, if you're looking for a really good sex scene, go ahead and skip through those pages to find go ahead and Google what are the smutty chapters in Deep End by Ali Hazelwood on Google, and then go read those if you're into it. Otherwise, do I really recommend reading this book? No. But you know,
Ali Hazelwood, this is the last time you will best me. I'm not doing it anymore with you.
But if you enjoyed this episode, please like our
subscribe.
video. Please subscribe. Please share with your friends. You don't know how much it makes our day. Genuinely.
Comment down below what you thought of this book.
Yeah.
Comment down below what kind of cactus you would hit your man with if he asked you for a threesome with somebody that you work with.
Yeah. I would love to know. It'll make my day. Seriously, it will. And yeah, hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.